Hey everybody, my name is Reagan Berry. Today I'm going to go over an article about a threat in 2025 that happened. My article is Terrorism Advisory Bulletin warns of a heightened threat environment in the U.S. after Iran strikes. My source for this article is CBS News. This article was published. Look, I have my notes pulled up on my computer and my notebook because I can't memorize stuff like that very easily. So if I look over here, that's why. But when was this written? It was written June 23rd, 2025, or it was published June 23rd, 2025. Let me see. The article discusses a warning issued by the Department of Homeland Security through National Terrorism Advisory System. The warning addresses increased security concerns inside the U.S. due to outside conflicts between us and another country. In this video, I will explain what the article is reporting on. I'm going to discuss why it matters and kind of connect it directly to Chapter 1 in a way. And yeah, but before discussing my article, I want to define Homeland Security just to give more insight. I know we all read the chapter, but so I have two definitions that I pulled from the book. I have Homeland Security is an exercise addressing the question of how to protect the nation within its borders from the threats, domestic and foreign. And then the other one I have is Homeland Security exists to safeguard the domestic security of the United States and broadly promote the stability of society when man-made and natural disasters occur. So let's get into it. And these definitions are pretty important because they show what Homeland Security is all about, which is preventing issues like this or being prepared when they do occur. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the article reports that the Department of Homeland Security issued a terrorism advisory bulletin warning of what is called a heightened threat environment. According to the article, it was explained that global conflicts, especially tensions involving Iran, increase the risk to the U.S. even if the violence is occurring overseas. It doesn't have to be here in the U.S. The bulletin warns that these events can inspire individuals or groups to commit acts of violence domestically. One short statement in the article explains that the warnings reflect increased global tension and their potential impact on U.S. security. So I highlighted increased global tensions because I know it was defined in Chapter 1, but I also feel like increased global tensions is when things are going on overseas, it's okay, but what about what happens behind the scenes of that? And I think that that's what Homeland Security really is okay, well, what's happening outside of the fight? What is the other country gonna do to us over here? I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but you get it. What are they gonna do to us behind the scenes? Yeah. Also, the article makes it clear that DHS is not warning of a specific attack. It's actually supposed to be raising awareness and just really encourage them to be prepared for this attack in case it does happen. And overall, the article shows how Homeland Security Agencies monitor global events and issue warnings when those events may increase domestic risk. I think personally this article matters because it shows how Homeland Security is more proactive than reactive, so they're not going to wait for something to happen to prepare for it and be ready for it. They are instead going to prepare for it and be ready for it without anything even happening. Even if it's a small threat, or if there is something going on overseas, there doesn't need to be a threat. It's just kind of, I feel like it's a given, and they just prepare for worst case scenario, which I appreciate because it makes me feel a little bit safer. And I don't know, I just think that that's really cool that they look at every possible outcome and what could happen, and they have a plan for if it does occur. In my notes as well, I stated that after 9/11, the federal government swifted the leadership, and it did this by aligning national response mechanisms with newly emergent threat environment. And I think that this article is just like a direct reflection on that shift. Because instead of waiting for the terroristic act to occur, they just prepared for it. They were just ready, and they had a plan set in place to keep our country safe, even if there wasn't an active threat. And I really appreciated that. But yeah, this article honestly connects really well to several concepts from chapter 1, but I really just wanted to focus on how if there isn't even a threat, Homeland Security is going to be there for us regardless. They're going to have a plan in place regardless. And I think that that is really comforting and reassuring. And yeah, hopefully this is over 7 minutes. I know I ramble, and I'm sorry again for looking off to the side. I just have all my notes here and over here, and yeah. Okay, bye.